Welcome back to the shed. Today I'm going to do something that 99% of us don't do. I'm going to make something out of yucky metal. Wait, hear me out. This is a grinder. It has wheels and buttons. It also has platforms that are just as useful as the miter gauge that come with your bandsaw. The platforms are almost impossible to adjust to the angle you're looking for. That's because of these teeth. You can add a washer between these teeth for a quick fix and it works okay. But it still needs to be moved in and out depending on the tool you're sharpening. That is a mild inconvenience. Another issue is the size of the platform. I mean, look how small it is. So we're replacing the whole thing. The new platform should fix all of these problems, so it needs these features built into the design. Easy angle adjust, no in and out, and a bigger platform. The platform size is the easiest issue to fix, so we can call that done and move on to the first thing on our list. Easy angle adjustment is easily achieved by removing teeth from the assembly. The platform is supported by a bracket of some sort, and that bracket is sandwiched between two uprights. The bolt connecting them becomes the pivot point, and look at that, it's an easy angle adjustment platform. But wait, this setup falls short when looking at the second issue on our list. As the platform rotates, the gap between it and the grinding wheel changes, requiring the whole setup to be moved in or out depending on the angle of the platform. This is a mild inconvenience that we are trying to avoid. Let's try again. This circle represents the CBN wheel on the grinder. The straight line indicates the center of the wheel. This point here is where we want the tool to contact the wheel. For that to be true at any angle, that point should be the pivot point of the platform. If we draw a ring around that pivot point, we can establish the correct rotation around that pivot point. When we add the platform to the ring, it must sit under the pivot point like this. Rotating the ring and the platform proves this to be true. So we can attach the ring to the platform. Let's turn the ring into a bracket by adding a rectangle to it. Look at that, it still pivots at the pivot point. It is pivoting in space though, so it's going to need something to hold it up. This rectangle should do the trick. That's better. If we take this ring shape and cut a pocket in the rectangle, we're left with a ring-shaped groove that will hold the ring brackets and allow them to rotate and maintain the correct pivot point. All of the shapes we need are on the laptop now. Some uprights, some ring brackets, and a bigger than small platform. The tool of choice is a CNC, more specifically, this O-flute 1/8 inch end mill. For anyone interested, I'm running the toolpaths at 7mm a second feed rate with a depth of cut of 0.3mm. These settings are pretty conservative, but I'm not in a rush to break an end mill. Look at that, it's a metal! Don't use your favourite chisel for this bit. But feel free to use your favourite file though, there's quite a bit of that to do. The more observant of you out there may have noticed that these holes don't go all the way through the part. Now they do. 1 down, 6 to go. To finish the little holes, let's cut a countersink on the outside facing holes. Screws are going in there and it'd look nicer if they were flush. These are the upright pairs. L1 and R1 need a 6mm hole at the top. L2 and R2 need a 5mm hole. The 5mm hole that probably should have been a 5.5mm hole is going to become an M6 threaded hole. Whatever one of those is. Tapping or cutting threads is pretty straightforward. I'm choosing to keep them wet with some WD-40 and moving the tap back and forth, trying my best not to break it. These rectangles are the cross braces that are going to receive the screws, so they need drilling and tapping. The locations are marked out and another mark is made with a steel point. But looking good so far. This isn't going to work, is it? We're back on the lathe again. Drilling round holes in a rectangle. Look at that. This is the last hole that needs a thread in these spaces, and I haven't broken a tap yet. I can't see anything going wrong now. The ring brackets need holes with threads, and this professional looking setup is going to take care of those holes. This is the Super Pro setup for the second hole. I'm starting to enjoy this. Who knew metalwork could be fun? The platform has a rough machine taper that needs a bit of filing. That taper should allow the platform to pivot and retain an equal gap as it does so. We won't know if it works for sure until we assemble it, but it seems good in practice. Before we put it together, let's give all the parts a quick once over to make sure there's no sharp edges. The uprights come in pairs, with the ring brackets being the filling to the sandwich. This bolt should squeeze that sandwich together, locking the ring brackets in place. When loosened, the ring brackets are free to rotate. The upright assemblies are connected to the spacers using fancy black screws. I'm glad we countersunk those holes. The platform is the last bit to be attached with the same fancy screws. Look at that! It's a bit stiff, but it works. With the platform set to 0, the gap is 2mm. The gap stays the same at 22 degrees, 40 degrees, and anything in between. Look at that, it's set up over here now. Sharpening this 5/8 bowl gouge has never been easier. Well, that wasn't bad, was it? We endured some short-term inconvenience to eliminate some long-term mild inconvenience. And that's a win in my book. I'll talk to you next time.